Now, I don't know where you are financially, and in fact, why would I need to know that? But maybe you've come into some money. Maybe you've had a good month at work, whatever may be happening, and you're thinking, well, I'd really like to, invest this money into something. Well, you will already know this. The Breakfast Show is officially sponsored by Compassion UK. And every Wednesday, we're joined by Tim from Compassion UK just to tell us about what's been going on in the organisation on that week and also talk about what the organisation actually do. So it's been a while since we did have a natter, Tim, and I've gained an extra family member since.
Oh, mate, it's good to be back and good to see you. You're looking a little tired, I should say, Gareth, but there's a reason for that, isn't there? Obviously.
It's just a very strange. Now, how many children have you got?
I've got 3 children and I've got 2 grandchildren. Hard to believe, I know, looking at me, but
I mean, who could have 3 children and 2 grandchildren at 35 years old?
well, thank you very
Incredible,
much.
Tim.
Thank you very
So
much.
you've obviously been there when the third game changer arrives, is what we'll call it. And it's a strange thing when you have kids full stop, because it's such a roller coaster of emotions, isn't it? And it can sort of open up all sorts of different hidden feelings that you didn't think were there or you'd got rid of. And it's a strange old thing. But you were telling me actually about, so our son is called Gabriel, for those who don't know. And you said that at the weekend, you met 3 Gabriels.
Yeah, I was down at a great church in Torquay, the English Riviera. It's called Riviera Life Church. So they've got a shout out this morning. And we had a great time there with Pastor Jordan and Pastor John and the team there. And they've just partnered as a church with Compassion, and they wanted to focus on our work in Brazil. So they've partnered with a project, and something like 30 children were sponsored on Sunday morning. And I noticed that 3 of the children were all called Gabriel. So, there you go. You should have got in there, actually, Gareth, then you could have had 2 Gabriels.
Do you know, I don't think that I've explained about why we decided to call him Gabriel. Now, it's funny, isn't it, and God can place names on your heart, and you don't quite know why it's happened until it happens. And when I worked at the other place, I did a feature at a monastery, and one of the monks was called Father Gabriel. And I think it's my first ever experience of meeting somebody in real life called Gabriel.
Wow.
And it was on my heart for a long time. And then when we were thinking about names, Gabriel came up. And to my shock horror, my wife actually agreed with something I said. And that is how the name Gabriel for our third child came about. But something very, very interesting as well. So Gabriel was born in his sack. And I don't know if you know what this is or if you've got any experiences, but usually, and sorry if you're eating your breakfast here, but usually the waters go and then the baby comes out. But with Sam, the waters didn't go, and he was born in this very strange and angelic white bag. And then they had to open him up like some human Kinder egg. And it was a very, very strange situation, but it was such an experience I'll never, ever, ever forget.
Wow.
So there may be something very poignant in that name that we will see with Compassion children, and we'll also see with anybody else who's called Gabriel at the moment. So it's a real blessing to have you on, Tim, as always. And let's just do a bit of a reset, as we call it in the industry, because there will be new people joining us right now who haven't got a clue what Compassion do.
Yeah, sure. So Compassion's been going since 1952. In that time, 1 million children have gone through our programs. We're an international child development organization working with some of the poorest children in the world. We work in 3 continents, in 27 countries, and currently that's 2.2 million children are registered on over 8,000 projects, which are all kind of hosted and overseen by local churches of all denominations and expressions of church. And so these children's lives are being changed forever. It's a very holistic program, Gareth, where we want to enhance the development of the whole child, so educationally, physically, socially, emotionally, and also spiritually as well. So all the different programs are designed to be able to build up that child and give them a great hope and a great future for the rest of their lives. And so many go on through our program to become movers and shakers and game changers and nation changers. So, it's an incredible program. And, we love working with the field, who are the people that actually do it. It's not about, Westerners going over and doing all the work. It's about empowering local people who have an understanding of local culture and language and all of those things, who are the best placed people to help these children. We just need to play our part and, serve in the way that we can through resource and encouragement and whatever we can do.
And what's really amazing is, I mean, it's all amazing, but it's £28 a month. And the phrase on the website is, it begins with a child, sponsorship from £28 a month, and empower them to overcome poverty. So it's all about helping them, I guess, to help themselves. But with this, education is involved, and all the things that, imagine if, okay, somebody said to you, right, it will cost you £28 a month to take care of your own children. You'd be thinking, where do I sign up? So
absolutely,
this is something that you can really have a significant role in somebody's life. This is not just giving a one-off donation. It's not just £28 and then that's that. It is keeping in contact with this child and seeing them grow up, seeing them develop into adults, and then seeing them presumably go into their own life, them to get married, them to have their own children. And imagine it's a privilege, really. Imagine what a privilege it is to actually think that, yeah, well, it is due to our support that this person has had a future. So if you head over to the website right now, it is compassionuk.org, compassionuk.org, and you can find all the details you need. But in a moment, what we're going to be talking with Tim about is how the children are selected. Because, of course, there's children all over the world. How do they sort of propose this to help the children? What goes on behind the scenes? So if you've got any questions, as always, if you would like me to put them to Tim, then you can do so. The number that you need is that old WhatsApp number, which we use for everything. You've probably got it stored right now. The number is 0161 511 9555. Get in touch with us and we'll be back with Tim next. Have you ever wondered how the children get involved with compassion? Because you don't need me to tell you that there are billions of children around the world. And I think the last time I checked, there's not billions of children on the books of Compassion UK, but there's a lot of children, and this is your opportunity to help them. You can find out everything you need to by going to the official website, all the links needed, compassionuk.org. And you can actually, what's great about this is you can select. So maybe you would like to sponsor a boy or a girl. You can select what country you'd like them to come from, the ages, or maybe as well, you want one child that shares your birthday or a significant date in your own life. Well, that is all available through the search function. It's £28 a month to actually change a child's life, to give them hope and to give them a future. And joining me now is Tim from Compassion UK. And just tell us, Tim, so how are the children selected for the Compassion programme?
Sure. Well, it's quite interesting, really. I mean, you talk about billions of children. Yes, there are billions of children, I guess, within the world. But we're kind of really focused on the 375 million children that live in extreme poverty. Now, that's a lot of children. And so as an organization, we can't do that. And so many other great organizations are working to release children from poverty. And we're playing our part. We're doing what we can. As I say, 2.2 million children are currently registered on our programs. And so what happens is that we work with very much the field office, the country office in each of those countries that we work closely with the local community. They work with government as well, who would be aware of people's different situations. They're able to ascertain who are the poorest of the poor in the community. Who needs this the most? Now, there's going to be poor people and very poor people, but then there are going to be those in extreme poverty. And so that is our mandate, to really, really try and help those people by inviting them to register onto the Compassion program. So the Compassion team, together with local folks from the church that will be running the project, they're going to be out there in the community and measuring that, in a sense, assessing those needs. But then depending on the size of the project and the facilities and whatever the capacity of the project, X amount of children will be registered into that project. Now, that could be anywhere from 150 children, and it could be by the end, 300 or 400 children, as the project grows and got greater capacity to do that. But normally they would register about 150, 200 children initially. And I'm just working with a project now, Gareth, in Ghana, in the Voltaire region, that I've been communicating with. It's a brand new project, and they've registered 205 children actually. And so those children right now will be really excited, because next month the activities begin. Project Day on a Saturday will happen, and they'll be able to go and learn and have fun and have something to eat and play and feel safe and feel that they're in a place where they can be loved and valued and trusted and all of those kind of things, really. And they'll begin to see their school fees, part of their school fees, funded and whatever. So the children are registered, and registration day is an amazing day. So all the families come. So there's a lot of people, you can imagine there's a lot of people, and trying to sort of bring order to that can be quite a challenge, I think, sometimes for the staff. But people are so excited. This is a great privilege for them, and they recognize that. And so what will happen is details will be taken so that we can put together something of a profile of those children. So when it comes to telling their story and talking about them over here in the UK or in other Western countries, we can share a little bit about who they are, what they like doing, what their family situation is, and what their project is like as well. So we take that information, and that's all collated, and that goes on to our database, and then we can work with that to get that information. But also another great thing that happens, not so great for the kids sometimes, I've been there when it happens, is that they have their photograph taken. Now, for some of them, Gareth, you can imagine it's the first time they've ever had a photo taken. So they're feeling quite nervous. Some of them are quite scared. Some of these children are only kind of 3 years old or whatever. And so it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And the photographer will do all the usual tricks, waving cuddly toys and smiling and all the rest of it to get them to smile. But very often they don't smile. They look quite, straight at the camera. And so some of our supporters say, oh, they don't look very happy. Well, I think they're a bit overwhelmed, actually, to be honest. Do you know another thing? Can I'm just carrying on here.
No,
if you don't mind.
absolutely.
Another thing is that some people say, well, they don't look poor. Why aren't they dressed in rags? Why have they not got dirty faces? And we want to give a child dignity. This isn't about showing them in their worst circumstances. So what will happen is we will make sure that they've got something nice to wear on that day, and that they feel, and their families feel, that they're presenting well. So that's kind of the reason behind that. It's always about the child's dignity. We value them highly, and we don't want to cast the wrong perspective about them. Now, the reality is they do live in poverty. They do face very challenging circumstances every day. But from the word go, we want to begin to lift them and begin to give them a better view of themselves as well. And so this is all happening on registration day. And there's time with the caregivers, whoever they are. It could be a parent, could be both parents, or a single parent, or a grandma, or an auntie. Many children don't have their parents alive, maybe because of HIV/AIDS or something like that. But whatever that family unit looks like, we want to be a blessing and an encouragement too. So registration day is a great day. I'll shut up now and let you ask another question.
No, it's really interesting stuff, this. A question that we've had sent in, and it says, is there any restrictions? So are there countries or children that you wouldn't take?
Working with different countries is a long-term process. So Compassion International have to be sure that there's stability, financial security with banking, all of those things. And so it's not entered into lightly when we go into a new country. And those decisions are made at the very highest level in conjunction with that country, with the church, who are the main kind of participants in that whole thing. And sometimes we just can't go into another country because of faith issues or whatever it may be. Then we would never turn, if we are in a country and we're registering projects and registering children, we don't turn children away because of their faith or their background or their circumstances. Obviously, as I outlined just now, there is that kind of criteria of being in the extreme poor bracket. And but those children, they don't all have to be nice little Christian children. We have Buddhists and Muslims and people from different faiths, because they are precious children who are living with the most dire set of circumstances right now. So we don't turn anyone away based on those backgrounds or cultural situations. We love children, and we want to see every child prosper and do well in life. We talked about you were talking earlier before the break, of children going right through the program and then going into their own work life and families. Those children, when they have their own families, because of what's happened, their children will not know poverty because they've crossed the line. And so we want to give every child that possibility of escaping poverty and being released from poverty so that they can become all that they can become.
And something, we are facing difficult financial times in this country at the moment. But what I do want to say is that as a new father, I didn't see my child arrive and think, I hope I'll be able to eventually afford nappies. I hope that I'll be able to get them educated. I hope that I'll have food on the table. And I'm so blessed. And, education in this country is free. Healthcare in this country is free. And we do sometimes take it for granted. We're talking about life-changing stuff here. £28 a month means that you can change a life. And what I want you to do right now is to go on the website, compassionuk.org, and have a look at some of the children on there, because you'll see the beautiful faces. And, I can't spend too long on there because I do start to get upset. It's probably because I've not slept very much, I'll be honest with you. But you do see the ages, you see the countries that they're from, and you just think, these are children, these are human beings. And without your help, heaven knows what will happen. So go to the website. It's £28 a month, compassionuk.org, and you can really, really make a difference. And I hope that something that Tim said or something I've said has made you think, and maybe go over to the website. And maybe we don't know where you are financially. And as I said at the start of the show, we don't need to know. That's between you and your bank account. But maybe you've come into some money. Maybe, you've had a good month at work. Maybe something's happened with your finances and you're thinking, well, £28 a month, that's certainly something that we could do. Well, when you do it, make sure that you heard it on Connect Radio for a start. But can I just thank you from all of us here and from everybody at Compassion for even thinking about making this leap of faith? Because it is a leap of faith, £28 a month, but it's an incredible leap of faith where it is changing lives. So go over to the website right now. It is compassionuk.org, and Tim will be back with us again next week. Thank you very much, Tim. Always a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Gareth. Great to be with you. Love to little Gabriel as well. And all the other Gabriels out there.